Hello to my fellow Lois loyalist. My name is EJ and welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to be diving into the new Ryan Murphy series that just premiered on FX. There's 2 episodes we have to talk about. Let's dive into the premiere and the second episode of Grotesquerie. If you're unfamiliar with my channel, hello, welcome. If you are familiar, you know what we talk about on this channel. A lot of Ryan Murphy productions. I just reviewed the Lyle and Eric story about the Menendez brothers on Netflix, part of the Monster series. That was certainly an experience, but I mostly talk about American Horror Story. This year, we don't have a proper fall season of American Horror Story, so I thought it would be so fun to dive into Grotesquerie. And honestly, I like these first 2 episodes. It is a crime drama with a heavy tinge of religious horror. I just came from reviewing Longlegs this year. If you remember, my quote was actually everywhere for the movie. I called it the scariest movie of the decade. Why? Because I'm always intrigued by serial killers, religious drama, and, FBI stuff. I love Silence of the Lambs. I love Manhunter. I love the weird Hannibal series. Mostly stuff involving Hannibal Lecter, it seems. But yeah, overall, I'm really impressed with what Grotesquerie had to offer in these first 2 episodes. It is jam-packed with a lot of information, a lot of great acting from Niecy Nash, and some of the most elaborate, gross, wild kills. If you remember the movie Seven, there is multiple kills in this movie that make Seven look like a cakewalk. I thought that was impressive, wild, grotesque, as the title kind of hints at. Wow, this show is a lot of a lot. It is a hardcore religious horror experience of watching a serial killer with a religious motivation attempt to make himself known. And we have a detective played by Niecy Nash named Lois who's trying to figure out this case. There's a bunch of different moving parts here. There's a bunch of different characters. We haven't even seen Chavez Kelce. Did we? I don't remember him in these first 2 episodes. He's a very a pretty man, so I'm sure I would have remembered him. But yeah, overall, I am intrigued. I am happy by what was presented here. It feels a very American Horror Story-esque. It is gross. It's weird, but there's a bit of a campiness to it. There's a bit of a powerful powerhouse acting performance, which we need. This is a very Sarah Paulson, Jessica Lange, Angela Bassett, Kathy Bates type of role with Niecy Nash in this lead. It's very commanding. It's very needed. She has a lot of work to do in these first 2 episodes. I have a lot of work to do in this first review. We're going to be diving into both episodes. I usually do recaps, and this is my review section. So I like to do recaps and reviews. I'm going to give you my overall feelings for the, both episodes. I do think episode 1 was a bit stronger than episode 2. And then next, we're going to get into the recaps, where I kind of break down the nitty-gritty details of each episode. I will say, though, there's a lot happening, a lot of notes that I had to take, a lot of religious stuff. So if I miss something, please leave it in the comments below. I want to know your theories. I want to know your feelings. If this kind of stuff triggers you, if this kind of stuff scares you, let me know your feelings, because this is a pretty hard-hitting series. There's alcoholism, there's eating disorders, there's, of course, religious murders, there's, sassy nuns, there's fathers who maybe, okay, priest, okay, Nicholas Chavez, I've seen a lot of you these past couple days, but yes, that is it for my review section. Now let's get into the recap of episode 1. The episode begins and we are thrust right into where we need to be. Lois wakes up from a nightmare. She is heading straight to work, and my goodness, what a day of work this is. It is the Burnside murder case. This is a whole family that has been wiped out. A group of, the mom and the kids were sitting at the dinner table. The father was chopped up for them to eat, and then where did they put the baby? Well, he's boiling, if you will. Oh my goodness, this is such a graphic, such a disgusting case, and you're seeing Lois try to be as strong as she can, but she's diving further into drinking. She has this really hard relationship with her daughter named Marriott, who is a bit overweight, who is struggling with eating issues. That is a conversation point in episode 2 more than it is episode 1, but we're seeing her relationship with her daughter. She also has a husband who is in a medically induced coma, who is being run by Lesley Manville's character, Nurse Red. What is going on with Nurse Red? There has been multiple times where I needed to backhand this woman. The way she is talking to Lois, I'm like, excuse me? Excuse me. Episode 2 had an excuse me moment there. But yeah, overall, we're seeing Lois in this weird position in her life. She's dealing with these grotesque murders. And it almost feels like this killer is taunting her. I think the Sister Megan character has a really good thing where everything right now is so heightened, so hectic that we feel everything is very personal. But Lois could be right. This could be closer than what we even think. I have a theory that, what was it, Nurse Red? I think she's waking up Courtney B. Vance's character. He's doing the killings and she's putting him back into a coma. I am sure that's not what's happening. But is it? But no. I'm so intrigued because we're seeing Lois has all these different factors around her life, and then another murder pops up. And it's just as wild as the first one. I think that first one is disgusting. There's one at the end of episode 2 that I think is banana cuckoo pants crazy. But yeah, the second murder is these men getting crucified, hung up there. So yeah, the second murder is these men getting crucified, hung up, and their blood is drained. What? Truly insane stuff. All of this is happening, and we meet Sister Megan, and I love this quirky little nun. She is not a typical nun. She's pretty young. She is trying to help out with this case, but she's also running a website where she likes this scandalous cult kind of crime stuff. It seems to be doing well for her church. She's very new age because she says bad words. She drinks a little bit of liquor. There's something up with Miss Megan. I like her. She's weird. She's smart. She seems to understand these cases more than Lois is. But something's up with her. I need to know, what is y'all's theories on Megan? Because, what is your theories on Red? What is your theories on Megan? What is your theories on Father? What was it? We'll get to the father in a second. Oh my goodness. That scene with him and the whip. Wow. But yes, episode 1 is just all about opening up us to this case, and I don't know if I'm interested. The detectives keep being like, Lois, you need to send this to the feds, and I'm like, for real, girl, this is above your pay grade. But she's attracted to this case, and it's luring her in. It's making her drink more. It's engrossing to the point where a killer might be in her house. We don't know. There's a lot of weird dreamy stuff here. This is definitely one of those Ryan Murphy productions where I'm like, what is reality? What is the truth? I don't know. One of the big main issues we are seeing Lois face in her big interaction with Nurse Red is her relationship with her husband. He has been in a coma. We see their tepid relationship at the beginning of episode 2, but I love the end of episode 1 where she just kind of crawls on him and just says, ever since you've gone, things are even wilder. Where I need you. As much as they seemingly have fought, maybe they weren't in the best position, and she still feels that way because, the nurse is always like, you need to talk to him more, you need to be better for him, you need to be there. And it's just like, you don't know our relationship, get out of it. But he still is a rock for her. And I love that there's this moment where she just crawls on top of him and just bears her soul. Niecy Nash has multiple of these moments throughout this where she's just monologuing and she's just having great dialogue with another character, or she's just, again, speaking to Courtney B. Vance, who is just laid up in the bed. It is amazing. Niecy Nash has always been an incredible talent, but watching her work throughout these first 2 episodes really proves that, 1, I think she's great in the horror genre, and 2, she's a very good actress, because I love this part. I love her the first time she really sits down with Megan as well. I love her first, let me tell you what's going on with Red. It's just powerful scene after powerful scene. She carries this story through, even when it gets wonky, even when it gets grotesque, even when it's just in your face wildness. She's still grounding it. Maybe a little too grounded, maybe a little too calm in these cases. Everyone's puking. She's just walking through these murder cases like nothing. That is a little concerning, girl. Feel things, breathe, understand what's processing, but there's a lot going on with this character. Like I said, she woke up from a nightmare at the beginning of episode 1 that had a fire involved in it. I don't know what that's going to tie into what. There's a lot going on with this first episode. You think that, and episode 2 even ups it even more. Episode 2 begins, and I'm so happy that Courtney B. Vance is actually in this episode. We see the inner workings of the family drama. He's trying to get his daughter to lose weight. She goes, oh, you're going to send me to a fat camp? He goes, I don't know if that works. You have a problem. He also starts going on his wife's problems. You're drinking too much. You're involved with your work. And she goes, well, you've been cheating, baby. I'm a detective. I had you followed. She kind of kicks him out, and we're seeing the strained relationship that, again, Nurse Red so, how dare you not treat your husband well? I'm going to bathe him. I'm going to give him a little rub and tug while you're not around. Again, what is going on with Nurse Red? Because, I mean, Lesley Manville is eating up this role, but I'm also like quite offended multiple times. Like, there's a great scene where, she catches, or Lois catches maybe Red doing some inappropriate things and just goes off, and they're going off on each other. She's like, I can send him to a warehouse where he's just going to be ignored. Do you want that? Do you want me to set that up for your man? Because I will do it. And Lois is she's done with this woman, but she also knows she cannot handle the situation her husband is in. So it's a very interesting dynamic. She's like almost forced to deal with Red consistently. I do love that scene where she like basically is like, I will fight you. And Red's like, oh, well, my security would break your hands, have you arrested, like, don't mess with me. It is just, it's like watching Niecy Nash just face off with these women in a good way that she has the scenes with Megan, and in this kind of confrontational way that she has with Red. It's so interesting, and I'm just watching all these interesting women dynamics happen, and it's fun to watch unfold, but it's also like, who do I trust? Who's evil? Who's good? I don't know yet, but I don't trust anyone. Even Megan, who I love, I still don't trust her. The town is falling apart. Everyone is on edge. We have Niecy Nash up at 4 a.m. just drinking. We have her daughter, Mara, eating at 4 a.m. Their relationship, again, is one of my favorite parts of the whole show. So we decide to go to the convent. Is that where we have our nuns hang out? The little area where all the nuns are, and then we meet Father Charlie, played by Nicholas Alexander Chavez from the Eric and Lau story. He is disgusting. We'll talk about him in a second. But yes, we're starting to see that, we have the whole, of course, classic serial killer stuff, the board in the back with all the stuff. And that's Megan's board. And she's starting to figure out stuff about this case. She's getting into the very religious aspect, starting to, connect each murder to the Bible. She also says she thinks this killer views himself as a god. Let's then, conveniently after that is said, go to Father Charlie, who is, again, another weird figure in the church. He has his great little sermon, and he's getting the crowd all riled up, and then him and Megan go to lunch together, and it's cute. She steals a fry and he goes, stealing's a sin. She says the fries are orgasmic, or the drink is, or whatever, and he's just like, orgasmic, and she goes, well, you were a personal trainer before. We're all kind of new to this. We're young, fresh faces in this religion. Let us explore. And I'm like, oh, that's cute, this is good. And then it cuts to him finishing himself off and then whipping himself with a nine tails, and I'm just like, oh, this cute interaction led him to feel this way. He is the most obvious person to be the killer. Father Charlie, having the religious background, looking down on people, there is that vibe there, but he's also so obvious as a red herring that I went straight to being like, it's Courtney B. Vance in a coma. That makes more sense to me than Father Charlie, who is very obviously bad or good or troubled. I don't know what's going on with him, but that one scene, we see his little booty, we see all this, and I'm just like, oh, what an introduction to his character. We don't really get much more of him in this episode, but I saw enough now that I'm like, what is up with Charlie? Before we get to that big Last Supper moment, there is this red herring moment as well. Lois thinks she found a clue, so they go to a house in the middle of nowhere. This man used to be religious. Now this is kind of where they're looking for maybe fallen religious people, maybe people who have strayed away from the church. Let's get into that. Well, this case ends up being nothing, and it sends them to another murder case, a Virgin Mary eating. This one is gross. I don't feel like we spend a lot of time there. We get a weird, mysterious puzzle box. There's a mysterious liquid that was at the Burnside case, that's at this case. We have the liquid, we have this mysterious box. What does any of this mean? Well, Lois decides to go out to drink with Megan to kind of talk about more stuff. You need to, what was it? You need to unlock the dreams, or unlock these memories or something to solve this case. We're really seeing Megan push Lois into the direction she needs. She needs to focus, but not the way she's used to as a detective. She needs to open up her mind to a maybe supernatural way, to a religious way. Megan is really pushing her. I almost get the theory that none of these people are real, and Lois is just going crazy and trying to figure out this case herself, and none of these father religious people or Lesley Manville are even real. Obviously, it's not going to be that, but I'm curious of like, everyone seems to be guiding her in a certain way, like, fix yourself, fix your life, you're a hot mess, stop drinking, though you're gonna drink now, give a homeless man some money. And that sends that poor homeless man to die, basically. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Megan says we should call them unhoused individuals. So yes, the big final moment of this episode is probably one of the grotesque moments here. It is a Last Supper thing where poles are going through people's heads and hands. It is insane, and this was mostly the unhoused people that we saw throughout the episodes, and the one that we just gave money to. And again, this is like Lois being like, I knew that man. Like, these are all the people in this area. I was connected to him. He made me feel something. Now he was taken away from me. This is personal. And I'm just like, is it? I'm just so confused by the motivations of this killer. It's episode 2. I'm supposed to be confused. I'm a good kind of confused. I'm intrigued, confused. But I am like, I'm definitely going to need answers. Please do not let this movie or this show just leave us off with no answers. I need things to be wrapped up in a nice bow by the end, because I'm intrigued. I'm taking notes. I'm following the mystery. I'm not like, Megan with my like thing in the back with my little chart being like the killer here, what was it, Peppa Silva from It's Always Sunny. Yeah, I'm not doing one of those charts for this show yet, but I am intrigued. I want to see where it goes, because this was a great premiere and a great follow-up episode. All right, everyone, that is it for my breakdown of the first 2 episodes of Grotesquerie. I'm going to call this my American Horror Story season of the year, though we have American Horror Stories next month. I cannot wait for that. I will be diving into those episodes for the Halloween event. We're going to probably do each episode individually, but I had to dive into these first 2 episodes with you all. What did you think of Grotesquerie? What did you guys think of my review? Share your thoughts down in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up, all that jazz. And let's talk about this sick, nasty show right down below.